Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are gonna start working on the standing seam snap lock metal roof. And I've got my first bundle here. This is gonna be probably the easiest section. I think the best place to kind of get our feet wet, making up the panels, installing the panels. Greg's actually not here today, so I got Cole. Look at that, dude. I didn't call you Greg.
Yeah, that's
a good
start.
start.
One of the first times ever.
New year, new me, dude.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that this video series section is gonna be pretty big. We're gonna have a bunch of different sections of this roof because there is a lot of complication and a lot of questions around how to do some of these trim details. We've got valleys, we've got hips, we've got, you know, rake walls dying into end walls and just a bunch of different details. But we're gonna start simple. And the first thing I wanna do is talk you through like prepping the panel, because unlike a exposed fastener, like ribbed metal panel, you just take up there, line it up and put the screw in it. These, we have to do a little bit of prep work. We don't have to, we like to, because I think it's the better end result. So let's go ahead and let's get into this. Take a look at this. You don't need snips. Just grab it and give it a little bit of a twist. Greg always gives it a couple twists. There you go. So what we're gonna do, Cole, is you always take out two at a time because you can see.
The good side's facing inward.
Yes, the good sides are facing inward. So we just kind of grab them and we're gonna shift them this way. Let's get our machine set up. We'll just set these down here. I don't know why we took those out yet. Because I'm excited. Yep, just lay them down. Okay. Okay, go ahead and raise it up. Keep going. Right about, a little more. Right about there, a little more. Yeah, there you go. So guys, we have the snap table. This is from Swenson Shear. You guys have maybe seen us use their shear that we can cut classic rib metal. It's just like a big guillotine. Well, this is what we use to prep our standing seam. And I always say prep our standing seam because it comes to us just like a raw panel. So we've got this raw panel cut to length, but what we need to do is the end that's gonna be down on our eave. We don't want just the raw panel edge, and we definitely don't want this, this leg here that we fasten to the roof, or even the female leg that snaps down. We don't want it hanging off the roof. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna use the machine. We've got these notchers. It's gonna allow us to very quickly and efficiently remove this material, prep it, bend it, and hem it, and be ready to go up on the roof. So we'll go ahead and get this set up, and then I'll show you guys how this all works. Then we'll make up about 30 some panels, and it's all for this section of roof above me, which is the easiest section, which is where we will start with layout and installing the snap block metal roof. This should be a nice clean hem, see? Right here. So when we pull it out, now on that end over there, you've got that nice hem that's gonna go on the bottom of our roof. Whenever you're stacking metal too, bud, you don't put your framing, really anytime, don't put your blocking on the edges, kind of spread it out. See this right here? Mm-hmm. This guy, this comes up and punches out. That's what that is. So by putting it, I can go tight to that little piece. That is exactly where kind of the end of it is. And then over here, yeah, I'm way too far. My spacing is too far off. I remember this now. That was a little trick. It's been so long since I've done this. Okay, go ahead, tighten that up. Snip this back. Boom. Now this is where you can take this, just don't grab it from the end, just kind of keep sliding it out till you get somewhere in the middle. Yep, and then just slide it out. And then it just, yeah, this is the important side. Yeah. This side gets covered up, and then we'll just take it over here. We'll see how you grabbed it though, 'cause that's not gonna work.
What do you mean?
Well, you need to be flipped around. That's the end we want there. And then all you're gonna do is you're gonna set this, that good rib will set just over top of that siphon. The biggest thing being right here, this is what's susceptible to some scratching. See these guys? Mm-hmm. I just kind of line these up, and now these are ready to go up and get pinned on our eave flashing. So we'll just kind of keep stacking them up just like that. It's always a little bit of prep work to get the first ones how you want them, but the whole point of this machine is that I don't have to hand snip all those notch outs. I don't have to hand hem the end. It is exponentially easier. So now we'll just start going and ripping these up, getting them done. Cole, let's pull a bunch out, man. And just set them right on that pile. Yep. Just like so.
You sure you want that, dude? This doesn't want to press
Hey,
up against
hey,
it.
Cole. It's because this is not square. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be close so I have kind of like a positive stop so that it's squared up with going into this guy here. So now this should be better because once I'm right where I want to be, this might not be exact. This side doesn't matter as much, but that's 1.25 inches. See, we're kind of fine tuning this every time. I need to get all these tools right here so they're just ready to be used. I got a 1-inch mark. We got our garbage, so we can put that there. There's that. And you're gonna learn how to do this. So what we can do is you'll be ready. This is what you do, okay? This guy, you're just gonna kind of get it down and you're gonna push it.
Okay.
Push it. And what that does is this little bend, I'm not perfectly tight, but you need to be tight up against it. So once you do that, and you're also looking to kind of line up these, see this? See how this gap is kind of the same?
Yeah.
That's so you know that you're not like way out of whack. So you're just gonna kind of make sure it's there and push it down, just this. So this is where you're gonna tighten her down, okay? Once it's tightened down, then you do the hem and it just roll it over itself. All the way back, then lift that up, and then pull it out. All the way, and then flatten her out. There you go. Take the left side to the left side, right side to this end, and then now what we'll do is this guy can go. These are small enough, Cole, that you could actually kind of, you don't have to like be so delicate, they're not gonna get hurt. And just lay it right on top of this pile. And then we'll kind of come down here and they'll get like layered. And just kind of push it right into that. Nope, take it back. Okay, now lock it down. Okay, now do your bend. Yeah. I'm just trying to save myself time not making measurements, but maybe I'll make a couple marks on these so I can verify as we go through the process. This should be 1.25 inches. This is inch. We have literally like 100 and probably close to 200 panels to make up over the course of this whole roof. Wow. But that's why this machine is so valuable. Okay, there's my 1.25 inch mark. I would say that's good. So these we'll use as our check, Cole. We'll make sure that we're lined up good. End of the day, it's more because I'm anal than that it really matters how perfect it is, because this will be tucked up underneath a gutter. Mm-hmm. Most people won't ever see it. Okay, let's see. So I've got a mark on the other side. So you go ahead and push it in tight where you want it.
Yeah, that's this one, isn't it?
Yep. Okay, go ahead and, now right here, I did an inch mark. You see that mark right there? Do you see it?
Yeah.
So that is actually just a hair off. So go ahead and loosen it. That's what I was afraid we weren't exactly where we wanted to be. Okay, I'll go ahead and bump it back in again, tighten her down. Okay, I think we're better. Go ahead, tighten her down. Hem it. Yep. Right there's our 1 inch mark. Do you see it? Mm-hmm. Right where our hem is, and this is the same dimension. So now this should be good. I think I'm feeling better about the setup. Everything's locked in, so I think now we're good to go. What'd that take? 5 panels, I guess. It took us 5 panels just to get this machine. But the thing is, now it's set up for all the straight panels. It's ready to go. The only thing that will change is right now we're running our metal left to right on the roof. It's gonna come from the left to the right. And if we change that right to left, then we have to move these back the other way because we'll be then notching off this side. And these guys just remove. So this is a specific notcher for the female side, which is the overlap. And then this guy is specific for notching out that male leg that is right here. So I guess I can show you that. I mean, it makes sense. Usually this is the female, it's open, and the male leg goes inside of it. Cole, do we need to have that conversation?
No.
Okay, just making sure. Okay.
I get it.
Well, we got a block down here. Sometimes you have to clean this out. Pull those out there, Cole.
Pull what out?
Ah, there we go. See it? See it?
See what? Oh yeah. There's two in there. Oh, I know. There's just one really bent one.
Yeah. This is where they drop, and usually you can, you know,
Nice.
do it quite a while before you clean it out. I'm too lazy to grab them as you go because it's not very, I wouldn't say very safe. Putting your fingers in there. Okay, now we're gonna get on a roll. I used to mark this all the way around with a measurement, but I don't think it's really necessary. I've learned it's probably overkill. Make sure it's tight all the way. Now, I know you guys are probably saying or thinking to yourself, like, why not just have the machine notch both sides since you have a notcher? And that's because this little flap right here that we leave, you're gonna see when we get our roof on why this is important. And we can't have the whole notch gone and still have this flap here. So unfortunately, because we want a little bit higher quality looking finished product, that's a step that we have to kind of do manually versus just letting the machine. Because we could notch both sides, run it out, hem it over and be done. But this little step right here, I think is for a better end product. All right, I lost my helper, guys. Cole has other things that he has to do. So I'm gonna go ahead. We've got about 17 or 18 panels out of the 30 something we need to make. I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of these made up, and then we'll go up to the roof, and then we'll start with like the layout and understanding that you don't just start on one end of the roof and move to the other and pray that it works out. We got to do a little bit of layout prep, make sure that we're good. So I'll get this done, and then we'll go up on the roof. All right, guys, we've got our panels made up for this side of the roof. And a lot of people were wondering, why would you do this underlayment when you have the WeatherLogic panel that has the built-in WRB? And that is because I'm going to be applying cedar breather, and that is this product right here. So if you haven't heard of cedar breather, it's a product to create basically a rain screen. And so you would typically use this on a cedar roof or a metal roof. And what this is going to do, let me if I can get it opened up, it's kind of like a big Brillo pad, okay? And it's a non-compressible drainage space, 1/4 inch thick. So this is gonna get rolled out over top of the Benjamin Opdyke, this vapor dry. And this is a self-healing membrane. So when I put all my fasteners through it, it'll just heal around that, and it won't allow moisture to go through it. So when I'm stapling this on, when I'm putting all my roof screws on, it's gonna keep the panel underneath good for the duration of the building, because you still can have condensation underneath your metal roof. You know, we don't normally do this. This is kind of above and beyond. But anytime you can add a drainage plane between your surfaces, the products will last way longer. I've seen that when I went overseas in Switzerland. They have drainage planes on everything, and these buildings are hundreds of years old. The cedar on the exterior is hundreds of years old, and it still looks great. So I thought, you know what, I'm only doing this once here, let's just do it. So we're gonna apply the cedar breather, then our metal panel will go on that. This is approved and made specifically to do this sort of thing. So I'm kind of excited. I think it's gonna be pretty cool. It'll add another layer to our job. We have to roll that out as we go, but I don't think it's gonna really add too much. Now, right now it's just me. So my goal is to get the layout, to get, you know, where all the panels get figured out. Something with standing seam, you have to know your layout. You have to understand where your panels are gonna go, so that when you get to like your end trims or any valleys or hips, you know, any of these locations, you know exactly where your ribs are. This is as easy as it gets because I'm literally gable to gable. It's a 49-foot gable to gable roof, straight, no valleys, no hips. So it's a good one to kind of talk about theory. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna find my center point. I already know that I want my panels to start in the center with a rib, and then I'm gonna work out to the edges, and I'm gonna have an odd piece on both ends that I will cut and roll up, and it will be like, you know, that's the way you have to do it. You don't want to start right on an end and just work to the other end. There's a good chance you might kind of screw yourself over. So layout, it's key. So the first thing I need to do is find my center point, and then from there I'll work back to the edges and then do my layout. All the panels, 16 inches coverage, but they're 17 inches center of the rib to the edge, which is where we're gonna be nailing. So that will be the starting measurement I need to remember. Well, look at that, 49 feet and 1/8 of an inch. It was supposed to be 49, so I guess we're off a little bit. That could be the thickness of the Benjamin Opdyke going over the edges though. So I am 49 foot, and we're not gonna do the 1/8. We're just gonna say 49, 24/6, and I'm gonna have a rib up the center. So 24/6 divided by 16 inches. I'm 16-inch coverage, that's 18.375. So 16-inch times 0.375 is a 6-inch piece. That means I'm gonna start with a 6-inch rip, and that works out good. For me, I could shift that over and start with a bigger piece, but then I end with like a 12-inch piece. So then I'd be starting with a full, ending with a partial. It's not very symmetrical. I end up using the same amount of material either way. So what my goal was is I want a rib to be centered with the peak ridge here of the middle section. Doesn't matter, no one's gonna really see it, but I think it's better to start with a rolled up edge than a full panel with standing seam. Now the way we're gonna trim it out, it doesn't actually matter, but just for symmetry, I think I'm gonna start with a 6-inch and I'll end with a 6-inch. It'll be the same piece. I'll rip one piece down, starting with the nail flange, and then I'll end with the good rib. So because we know we are starting with a 6-inch, what I'm going to do, actually I just thought of something. I'm gonna be adding a 3/4 fascia board to this end. So I'm actually going to start 6 3/4 from the edge. And I'm gonna give myself a little bit of room, and I'm gonna go 6 7/8. And then I'm gonna add the dimension of my nail fin, which is another inch. So we're gonna go 7. Oh, wait a second, I gotta go the other way. Yeah, so actually that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go 6 3/4. That's gonna be my start. So by the time I put my fascia board on and I rip this down to 6 3/4, that should be pretty darn good. Let's go ahead and make it 6 1/2. Yeah, 6 3/4, that'll work. Make sure that I'm doing this right, because I'm thinking it in my head, I'm explaining it to you guys, and I don't want to mess up. So that is correct. 6 inches is the center of my rib here, but I'm going to shift it back 3/4 for my fascia, which means 7 3/4 will be the overall rip. And then from that point, we will go ahead and I'm going to set myself a nail. And from this point right here, that is where we will run every 16 inches. And this is not the center of the panel, it is the edge of the panel, because it's easier to line up to the edge than it is to try to line up to the rib, which is not, you know, on the edge of the panel. So, all right, we'll just go ahead and lay this all out. I think we're gonna grab a marker. Cole just showed up, we'll pick him up, get him harnessed up here, and then we'll kind of finish this layout. But it's just important in a standing seam roof to make sure that whatever you start with is what you end with. So find the middle point, and if it can work out, kind of do that and have balanced rips on both edges. You ready? So the first panel that we got to put up, remember it's going to be 6 inches wide, well, plus 3/4, so 6 3/4, and that is measured from the center of this rib right here, which is why we added another inch to that measurement, because there's the leg right here that we are going to be lining up with our marks on the roof. So we'll always line up on this screwed flange here that we're gonna be screwing through, but we always go off of coverage center to center. So center of rib to center of rib, which is 16 inches. So what that means is this first one, I'm actually going to go 6 3/4 plus the 1 inch here off of this edge. So that's 7 3/4. Then what I need to do is I need to add an inch to that, go 8 3/4, because that is what I'm going to bend up. Now, when I'm looking at this, I'm like, well, when I get to the other end, if everything runs right, it's going to be the exact same size. That's not going to be enough material to bend up on the other end. So I got to make a decision. Do I use a whole nother piece of steel, or do I go ahead and rip this right down the middle at 8 inches and then bend up both sides? I think that will actually work just fine. 6 3/4, 7 3/4, 6 3/4. Yeah, I'm actually perfect. That's beautiful. I will have barely ripped out material on both pieces. So 6 3/4 plus an inch is 7 3/4, 8 3/4. Okay. Cole, let's snap a line. The reason is because if it's not as straight as possible, makes that roller that much easier. Let me grab my snap line. We got to do a bend up, and this is what will help prevent any water potentially that gets behind this panel going into our overhang. So I'm actually going to rotate this way, because I got to have this end overhanging. Okay, you got to hold this right on the edge. And what I need to do is make sure that this is set up for 1 inch, because that's what we have figured. There's my 1 inch. I like to make the crease in the panel first. About. I'll never get exactly 90 because I can't overbend it because it'll just run right into the metal. But I can get really close. And what we do this for, in order to lock this panel down, we have to have something to grab and pull down. We don't want to just screw right through it. So now we have this. This is our first piece, and should be 7 3/4, 6 3/4 plus an inch for the leading edge. So this will be our first piece to go to our marks, and then once this is set up, we're just going to snap on and keep going. So I do need to do the bottom though. And when I say do the bottom, I need to put the same hem on this panel that we did on all of our other ones. It's always easier to do it after you've ripped it than to have it all prepped, hemmed, then rip it, because then you got to undo your bend and everything. Let's just go ahead and snap this sucker off, and I don't have to snip it out. I don't need vice grips, but I do need my hand hemmers. Go up in that lift and back that lift up. Back it up right here so I can just come out and boom, hand them to you.
Okay.
If I had the Magni still, I'd just boom the whole pile up there. I don't have my telehandler. Skid loader doesn't go that high, so we're gonna have to put them in the scissor lift and take them up there. Oh, and I probably should get my telehandler here for the rest of this roof, because it would save us a lot of time. Okay, so when you're moving these, Cole,
yeah,
grip this and keep them tight so that they don't like scratch each other when they move around. So you're gonna go right above, I'll lift them up to you. Put one hand there, and then one hand there. Yep, and then go right over your head, kind of. They're not gonna go nowhere.
I think I'll just flip them and
yep,
put them
just like that. Perfect. Yep. Oh, this would be miserable if you weren't here, Cole.
Yeah.
If I was trying to do this by myself, I'd take a lot more time.
Oh.
I don't think you grab middle. Nope. You grab next to my hand because I got middle.